Hey, welcome back to the Dudecast. I'm Nick.
I'm JD.
This is the Dudecast. I just said that. I still got to work out the intro.
Right.
But here's some theme music for you. So this is it. This is like the last one of the season.
Yeah. It's been an interesting run so far. I think we're still working on our sea legs a little bit, and sort of where we want to go. We've had some good episodes. I think if I think back, all the weeks, because we kind of shoot on different weeks, and we'll do several different kind of things, and it's it's not like we're sitting down every week and doing this and putting it out the next day. It's more of a tape a season, release a season kind of thing, more of a television thing. I think our talk on sort of the movies was a great kind of
I think
topic.
it was a good one. Yeah, absolutely. I felt like we had a good episode when we were talking about overall health and fitness stuff and kind of getting in shape. I think that was a good one too.
Right, because both of us are definitely doing those things. You're doing you're well into your weightlifting routine, and you're doing that video and releasing that, and I've started cycling again. To the point that it's funny because for those of you who don't follow me otherwise, I started riding one of these Peloton bikes. Oddly enough, in between tapings of this, I just got an email from them where they have invited me for whatever reason. They must check social media accounts. They want me to come to one of their stores to do my 100th ride. So
it's kind of cool.
It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that because I feel like a big, sweaty, gelatinous kind of mess at that point. And it's I'm a long way from my days of being a professional athlete and like recovering from injuries and stuff like that. But both of us pushing that, and it's one of those things, and especially as older dudes that you really kind of have to
take after your health, man. It's
look
the most
after,
important
right?
thing.
I'm almost 50.
Yep.
You're
40.
Yeah.
This year, so
it's it changes. It changes a lot. It's
absolutely.
I retired from fighting professionally when I was 32, and I was in really good shape.
Yep.
Beyond that as well, until I essentially had my accident, and then it was kind of You're all messed
all
up,
bets
right?
are off at that point.
But it's interesting. Like if I look at fighting, how I was in my 20s to how I was in my 30s when I was looking to retire. Again, I felt good. Like I felt really good, but I could notice the changes, like in speed and things along those lines. And I still train actively now. I'm still, and I'm injured again, rupturing like from sparring, in a ring, I ruptured, the bursa sac in my elbow because basically I took a blow, a bone-to-bone blow against my elbow, and it just kind of didn't feel very good and hasn't felt, very good. But, and being close to 50 now, I notice the differences as well.
Absolutely. The biggest thing for me, I think, is the lack of strength. I've really built back up, nowhere near where I was in my prime. But I've come a long way in 20 weeks. And the biggest thing though is so it's like strength, it's flexibility, it's joint achiness and soreness, especially lifting heavier weights. And I know with like my back injury and I have a bad knee and stuff like that. So like I'm not squatting anymore. I do it as a warm-up and as a good workout, like a working set. I won't go any heavier than about 350 pounds because it puts too much pressure on my spine, but I can still use it to work slowly and have really good form to make sure I'm getting a good stretch through my entire undercarriage, like the glutes and
you actually do legs?
I
thought that was a dude thing to do. We don't do leg days.
No. Dudes do not skip leg days. Legs is my favorite and always has been my favorite body part to train. Probably because they're bigger than anywhere else on my body. I can move the most amount of weight, or I could. But I get a huge sense of satisfaction of doing really good form, really strict pacing in terms of like 4 breaths down, so you're really controlling the weight, and a forced push two count up. So I really feel like I'm able to control that amount of weight with my legs better than anywhere else in my body. So like I don't do the squats anymore, but I'll still do squat press.
Yeah.
I'll do leg extensions, leg curls, those sorts of things where those, they're more like isolation exercises for bodybuilders where you're really specifically trying to make the muscle belly of your hamstrings or your quads enlarged. But if you can't do a full on squat like you want to, that's the next best thing. But yeah, it is. It's like, as you're getting older, it's like, you really got to take care of yourself, like anything, your car, your house, anything that ages requires upkeep. And I think people forget about that with their health. It's funny, I was talking to my wife the other day, and one of the things that I think dudes especially forget, like in my head, I don't really feel any different than I did when I was like 18, 19, 20.
Right.
And I think where people get in trouble, some older gentlemen specifically, maybe if they're unmarried or whatever, they get into a little bit of trouble, maybe trying to attract and or interact with girls that are half or less than half of their age.
Right.
But it's not, I don't think it's any sort of like weird thing other than just, I still feel 20, so I should be dating 20-year-olds.
Right.
It's like, no, dude, you are not 20. You're 40, you're 50, you're 65. Like, meet ladies that are a little closer to your age. It works better. I
have a friend who's, I don't think he's single at this point. He will be shortly, probably.
Oh, yeah.
As
it happens.
And I don't feel bad saying that. And he'll laugh when he hears it. Sure. But the thing is with him is that it doesn't matter. He always gets older. His girlfriends never age.
Right.
It's because, number one, he goes through them, and they just always whatever that age category, that 20, like 25 maybe is max for him.
Right.
They don't get older than that, and it's kind of like it doesn't work.
No.
And they never
beyond
do.
a certain point. It's just not going to happen. Right?
And it's kind of funny because it's like it just won't. He could probably settle with somebody that's, a lot more closer to his age, and there would be a lot of the things that drive him nuts that, a 20-odd-year-old girl, drives him nuts.
Yeah.
But just can't seem to do it.
Yeah, hey?
He just circulates in that circle, and it's kind of funny.
It's like that Matthew McConaughey line from that 70s movie. What is it? Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Where he's talking, my favorite part about high school girls.
Does it never get older?
Every year I get older, but they stay the same age.
Yeah.
Right. And it's true. But like I said, I think it's that mental state. It's like, I don't really feel like I'm old. And then every once in a while I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh yeah, you got a lot of gray in your beard. And yeah, you are getting older and puffier and whatever. Right. Although that's gone down a lot as well with the loss of the weight. And I'm finding that I'm not eating as much bad stuff anymore.
Right.
Not that I ever really did, but I'd have a donut if I wanted a donut, or I'd have 6 slices of pizza if I wanted.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I look at a slice of pizza and I'm like, no, you know what? I know how it makes me feel.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat that anymore. It's crazy how just those little changes really make a huge effect. As you get older. And I mean, I remember in my 20s, or late teens and into my early 20s, going through kind of like a weight loss phase or a body recomposition or whatever, and it didn't matter at that point. Like, I could eat an entire pizza and not have it affect me. But
yeah, I wish my journey was a lot different at that time. I was like 6-7% body fat, and everything was weighed. Very specific. When you're fighting in weight categories, you play this delicate balance between, too small and not enough energy, and like cutting too much weight at certain periods of time. So I mean, it was all everything. It was horrible. Like, I like food now, and it's that's apparent. But I'm just making up for like 30 odd years of like strict regiment, kind of stuff. I remember going out university and all sorts of stuff, and it'd be like guys would go eat fast food, and I just wouldn't eat. Because I wasn't going to eat bread. I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to drink a soda that had 200 calories because it would just throw things off. And, it's a lot of work.
Totally.
To do it. And, it's, you always hear about diet and exercise. Diet's such a huge part of it. It's like, I want a 6-pack, and it's like, you can work out all day you want, right?
Absolutely.
If you don't diet, you're never going to have it. I hate to say that to people that, thinking, I mean, unless you are like
super genetically gifted.
Well, and working out a huge amount. And I mean, I used to work out a huge amount.
Right.
I would wake up and I would go for my run, and then I would go to the gym, and then I would train at the gym, and then I would train at lunch hour, and then I would run, basically the club from, 6 o'clock at night till 11 o'clock at night. And that was kind of my day. Like, I mean, it was a job. It was a job,
For sure, yeah.
And
And
I was afforded the luxury of being able to work out 8 hours a day.
Right.
But I mean, that's what you got to do as an
100%.
athlete, right?
Well, that's it. As an athlete, I mean, muscles and six packs and whatnot, they're made in the gym, but they're revealed in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, revealed through your diet. And I mean, I'm lucky now in the fact that I know as much as I know. I mean, there's many things I don't know, but I mean, I've got my diet dialed in, and I'm not denying, we were talking about this earlier. I'm not denying myself anything. So if I want to have a full sugar Pepsi, I'll have a full sugar Pepsi. But I know now it's like, okay, listen, that's 240 calories that you're putting in your body that you really don't need. You're not going to be able to have, you're serving a pasta with dinner tonight. Yeah. Okay, well, that's a sacrifice that I'm going to make because I know that I for right now, for whatever reason, I want to have a Pepsi. Yeah. Cool. As long as you're maintaining and watching, like, as not a competitive athlete, but as like a normal person, just trying to have
I mean, you can do that with exercise too. You can drink that 240, but you're going to spend half an hour sweating your ass off on the bike.
Yeah, but I don't like to do that. I hate cardio with a passion. I don't do cardio. I do, depending on the workout that I have. So like, depending if it's like a chest day or a leg day. So like on a leg day, I'll only do a warm up of about 8 to 10 minutes,
which is good.
On like a stationary bike. And then I go and do my workout. If I'm doing like shoulders and traps, upper back day, I'll spend 20 minutes on the bike as a warm up because you need more blood flowing to those little muscle groups. But other than that, I don't actually do cardio traditionally because you get a good cardio workout doing heavy weightlifting. Yeah. Which a lot of people I think don't understand. And as long as you're combining it,
it depends how you do it. It comes down to rest periods, right?
Yeah,
like, I mean, like when I used to do weights, for fight training, there was no rest.
It was go, 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 go.
It's like you do this, and a lot of times guys will do whatever they do, their set, and then they sit there, and in this day and age, text and
everybody's on the
take
phone
a selfie and whatever, and post it to Instagram, and then comment on a few things. What I would do is like shoulder press. I would do a set, and basically jump off, grab, for me, because obviously fighting a skip rope, and then during that 30 seconds, and it was all timed.
During your rest, right? Yeah.
During the rest, I'm going, and skipping at high speed, then back again, and then the whole way through, and people would just be like, they'd be looking at me, especially, at the gym when I had to go to a gym for weight equipment, they'd be like, what the hell is this guy? Like, is he insane? Crazy, right?
For sure.
It's like, because they want to chat, they want to talk at the water. And for me, it's like, I need to get this done in an hour because that's what I have.
For sure.
And, and people are just looking like, you can't do that. Like, you've got to take your time. And it's like, that's not.
Well, no. And, I work very much the same in that when I go to the gym, I go very hard. Like, I go to work out, and that's all I'm going to do at the gym is my workout that day. Yeah. And I'm in and out. Again, leg days are going to be a bit longer because there's more weight, there's more repetitions. You got to do it. So that's like my most amount of time is about 58 minutes. So we'll call it an hour. Yeah. With the shortest being, maybe 35 minutes for like a shoulder day. Because again, they're tiny muscles. You don't have to work them that hard before you're like, okay, I'm gassed. But I'm in and out in that 35 or 45 minutes, whatever it happens to be, or an hour. There's guys I know even at the gym now, and I'm like, how long, they're there 2-3 hours. I'm like, what are you doing for 2 or 3 hours? Like, you're not doing yourself any favor. And I should explain, like, these aren't professional bodybuilders because, again, you watch Pumping Iron, Arnold and Lou Ferrigno and those guys, they were in the gym 4, 5, 6 hours a day. Yeah. But these guys are just in the gym shooting the shit, drinking water, talking to their buddy. Maybe they'll do a set. They sit back and they read a magazine. Like, you're wasting time. Yeah. And these guys are big, like, not fat, but like big guys. Yeah. And I'm like, you're just here to make an appearance of being at the gym? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, some people, that's what it's about.
And whatever.
Right?
I'm not judging. Yeah. But for me, I'm just like, go in, work your ass off, get out, and there you go.
You got other things on the go.
Well, that's it. I got other stuff to do.
It's what you identify as, right? I mean,
what's that?
Well, what I'm saying is a lot of people like that are doing what you're saying, and they identify as like, I am, whatever, I'm a gym bodybuilder or whatever the case may be. So that's where they want to occupy that space, right? And the longer that they can be there, that just, that's how they're going. That's where they would rather spend their time, right?
I guess, yeah. It's just for me, I'd much rather be spending time with my wife or playing music or, recording a podcast or whatever. The gym for me now is a means to an end. Yeah. To a healthier, better, healthier body, better look, feel better about myself, feel better in clothes, be able to walk up and down stairs without getting out of breath, like all those kind of things. It's a lifestyle. It's not necessarily a facade.
It's an interesting switch too. Like I said, you were here when the bike got delivered. Yeah. And I hadn't ridden like that in quite a while. I also used to mountain bike and do mountain bike films. So always doing athletic stuff. It's funny because I started doing that, and it shares the metrics of whatever. So it's hooked into things like Strava, which is a mountain bike community / bike community. Shares all that stuff, and people were watching it because people still follow me from way back when. And then I started getting messages, which I didn't know. It's like, what are you doing? Like, are you going to start racing again? Like, What are you doing? I'm like, no, I'm just like this. And they're like, dude, your metrics, and it's funny because I am completely out of shape in comparison to what it used to be. Like it's night and day. Yep. It's night and day. But to me, it's funny how your body remembers those kind of things. Because,
absolutely.
Guys are like, those numbers that you're pushing, like that's crazy. Because they also know how old I am, right? And it's like, why are you working so hard? And it's like, because that's just how I'm wired. Like it's like go, right? Yeah. Which is probably not good if I had, like a heart condition or something like that.
Sure, absolutely. But on the other hand, it might be, because I think one of the biggest problems with men in general, but I mean anybody, as we age, we tend to go, well, I'm getting older, I have to slow down, I better be more careful with how I walk, and I better sit and relax and keep. No. Yeah. The more you do that, the sooner you're going to die because your body's going to break down. You have to keep pushing and keep going. Yeah. So I'm on a bodybuilding forum, and one of the guys was talking today. He had a quadruple bypass 2 years ago. And he thought because he was a bodybuilder, because he was in really good shape, because he was, a fitness fanatic, that he was going to avoid his bad genetics. But bad genetics are bad genetics. It runs in his family, and he had heart disease, and he had to have the bypass. But the doctors told him after the fact, like, you're definitely further ahead of the curve because of the shape that you're in, because of the, your determination and will to succeed and to strive and to get better is going to, allow you to recover faster. Yeah. But if you're not willing to push and go, you might as well just give up. Right? Yeah. And you're just going to be a couch potato and have an early death. I mean, whatever. It's going to come get us all anyway. So you might as well, if you're pre-wired to work hard, man, because you're going to get more out of it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's
whatever it happens to be.
And it's, like I said, I think it's just old habits die hard. Like,
100%.
It's, once you get going, and especially when I started, like, at first I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, what the hell?
That first few days, right?
Yeah. And then it's, your saddle sore, all sorts of stuff. But once it started going, once I could feel the strength, like, okay, I remember this, this is, my body remembers this because it feels, way, way different than
muscle memory is a thing. Yeah. 100% it's a thing.
And it's, and especially with something like cycling, right? Like, I mean, it's not like that you do that stroke so many times, right? Right. It's, your body, attunes to that. And so, but it's all good, at the end of the day, like I said, being a dude, you got to take care of yourself, and
absolutely.
You definitely have to, you have to, you have to check in every once in a while and go, I really got to do something at this point, right?
Yeah. Well, and and like you said, you got to take care of yourself. So it's important too, not to overdo it. I think that's one of the other things that I've learned now too with my ripe old age. But like I was talking about the squats, like I'm not doing as much weight as I used to do, or I'm sure I could even still do, except for the back injury. Yeah. So I'm not going to do that. But you learn to listen to your body, and it's like, okay, well, lower weights and better form is going to get me better results than higher weights and looking like a bro. Look at me, I can push all, so it's, it's learning to take those steps and go, oh, I feel a little twinge. Maybe, okay, I'm going to take a little weight off and see if I still feel bad. Oh, I feel okay. All right, cool. And, your body lets you know these things.
Do you use a personal trainer at all? Have you ever?
No, I did like years ago when I was like wrestling and then doing strength competitions. I actually had like a power coach, I guess, or whatever you want to call them in terms of strength training and stuff. But I never, now I don't have that, I don't know. I find that you get more out of having like a workout partner or somebody that's like on the same page than necessarily a personal trainer per se, at least at the gym, like where I'm at. They're kids that are right out of university. They've got like a kinesiology degree or whatever. And I'm like, do you really know about training? Most of them, or some of them just have the can fit that you get like to be a personal trainer in Canada. It's like a 6-week course or whatever that you take. And it's like, you don't really, my one thing that I like to ask, so I work out at Good Life. This isn't a plug. It's just, that's where I work out, but they are very big on sales and they want to, cause it's a business like anything else. So their trainers are always on the floor and talking to people and like, oh, hey, let me show you something cool. And this, whatever. So I have one question. I'm like, okay, so you want to be my personal trainer. Cool. That's great. Tell me what happens to fat when you burn it. I think we talked about this at one point before.
We did.
Not a single one of them is able to answer that question. Yeah. When I find one that can answer the question and knows what happens, then I'll think about training with them. Yeah. Which makes me sound like an arrogant asshole, I suppose, but you got to know the basics, right?
Yeah.
And I'm bullheaded enough that I feel like I know what I need to do and I know how I want to get there, and I don't like having other people. And again, that's just my personality. Yeah. Like, you look at like, I liked wrestling. It's a singular sport.
Yeah.
I like weightlifting. It's a singular sport. I like things that I can control myself, that I don't have to rely on others. Yeah. Right. Just the way I'm wired. Right.
I always like that extra push for me. Right. I mean, whether it's fighting, racing, all that kind of stuff, there's that. You can push yourself to a point, right? I mean, where your edge is, and sometimes in training you flirt with it, and sometimes you can push through it, and sometimes you can push way beyond it.
Yeah.
A lot of times we hold back, I think, a lot of times, and I've always found that either coaching or trainers have always helped break kind of through those things. I don't have a trainer now, I utilize these online classes, but they they put you in things. I do like FTP training, which is power zone training. So you ride for 20 minutes, what your capacity is, and then you push to hit those levels, right? Right. And it's structured in those sense, right?
Cool. Yeah.
And the reason being is I find those, kind of little bit of pushes being a thing. So if you go back to your comment that you made earlier about, sometimes it's like, oh, maybe I'm old, I should maybe take it easy and all that kind of stuff. I think, sometimes having somebody that, whether it's a workout partner or a trainer, will help you break down some of those barriers, because your body's very capable.
100%.
And, again, sort of jumping back to cycling as an example, right? Because cadence is a huge thing, 70, 80, 90, 100, they feel very, very different.
Yeah, totally.
And, the resistance, whether it's from the road or whether it's from, from some other thing, your body will adjust over time. Like,
100%.
It doesn't matter. Like if you start, on a flat road with a little bit of incline, it sucks at a certain speed, but eventually you become accustomed to it, and if you change one of those two things, it changes and becomes a completely different workout. And in reality, you're working harder. Just getting used to it. And it's amazing that your body just,
it can, your body can,
your body says, this sucks, don't do it. Yeah. And you keep on doing it. It's like, okay, it's not that bad. Right. This sucks. And it's like, no, it's okay.
Yeah, that's normal. No, I think what I was getting at was more like specifically like awareness of like injuries and things. Yeah. Certain movements like bench press, for example. If your form isn't perfect, you're going to hear, clicking in your rotator cuff. And when that starts to happen, you got to go, hang on a minute. Too much weight. My form is off. It's too much weight. I've already done enough reps. There's like, a couple different things that you need to, whereas before when I was like, again, you're in your 20s, you don't know any better. It's just like, I'll push through it. Yeah. And you actually cause yourself more injury long term. Yeah. So that's kind of more what I was getting at. The pushing through barriers, definitely a valid point. I think most people at the gym tend to work in their comfort zone. They're at that like 60 to 80% exertion level, and they're just like, oh, this is where I'm comfortable, where I'm good, and I'm making good progress. And you're not. You're just used to it, and that's where you got to go. So you continually have to. But that's where I'm a little bit different, because I actually track everything that I do. Yeah. Like I have a notepad, and I write down my numbers. I write down my reps. I know what I'm at. Like my structure for my next workout is going to be set out at this, and I know the numbers that I have to hit to do what I was doing. Yeah. And you always try to do one set or two, or one rep or two reps more than you did last time. Once I get to a point where I can do like 5 to 10 reps more than I did last time, okay, now I need to add another 5 pounds. Yeah. And then you do it all over again, you know, because if you're not growing, you're stagnating. Yeah. Which, I mean, sometimes is good. Like you can keep a good level and keep it where it's at. Yeah. But for me, currently, I still need to grow. Yeah. You know, but there you go. That's about all the time we got for this one, man. Yeah. Zipped by. And then we didn't wrap up. We didn't really go where we were thinking we were going to go. We didn't hit there, but that's good. I mean, you know, that's what this podcast is about, and is dude stuff and guy stuff, and I think it's been fun. Yeah. So we're gonna take a break now from shooting. We're gonna get all this stuff edited. We're gonna put it out, and
we'll see you guys next season.
Thanks for tuning in. I've been Nick.
I'm JD.
Peace.
See ya.